$5? It doesn't sound like much. In many American cities, $5 can disappear in just a few minutes. Maybe a cup of coffee, maybe a quick snack, and before you know it, it's gone. But here in Vietnam, I had a different question. What if today I only spent these $5? No extra money, no hidden budget, just $5. Could I actually enjoy an entire day? Let's find out. One thing I love about mornings in Vietnam is how alive everything feels. By 7 o'clock, the streets are already busy, people are on their way to work, students are heading to school. Small food stalls are filled with customers. It isn't because today is special. This is just an ordinary morning, and that's exactly why I wanted to make this video. I didn't want to show you luxury, I wanted to show you everyday life. Because sometimes, that's where a country is the most interesting. My first stop, breakfast. In Vietnam, breakfast usually isn't something you grab from a supermarket. Most people eat hot, freshly cooked food, and one of the most popular choices is pho. This bowl had been simmering for hours before I arrived. The broth was rich, the beef was tender, fresh herbs were added just before serving. Everything tasted simple, but incredibly comforting. The best part? This entire bowl cost me just about $1.70. If I ordered something similar back in America, I'd probably spend 3 or even 4 times more. And that's before tax or tipping. After breakfast, I still had more than $3 left. The day had only just begun. One thing that surprised me the most wasn't just the price, it was the atmosphere. Nobody seemed to be rushing. People sat on tiny plastic chairs, talking with friends, reading the news, or simply enjoying breakfast before work. In Vietnam, food isn't just about filling your stomach. It's often the first social moment of the day. And somehow, life feels a little slower because of it. After breakfast, there's one thing many Vietnamese people never skip: coffee. Vietnam is one of the world's largest coffee producers. But what makes coffee special here isn't just the beans, it's the culture. Coffee shops are everywhere. Some are modern, others are just a few small tables on the sidewalk. I ordered an iced milk coffee. Strong, sweet, rich. It's a flavor that's completely different from what I usually taste in America. And it only cost me a little over $1. I think this is one of my favorite things about Vietnam. You don't have to spend a lot of money, our team, to enjoy a good morning. Sometimes, all you need is a small cup of coffee, a comfortable chair, and a few minutes to watch the world go by. Back in America, cafes often feel like places where people work. Here, they feel like places where people live. At this point, I'd already enjoyed breakfast and coffee, and somehow, and I still had more than $2 left, I started wondering just how much further this $5 challenge could take me. After coffee, I decided to visit a traditional market. If you really want to understand everyday life in Vietnam, this is one of the best places to start. Markets like this are everywhere. Early every morning, local farmers and vendors bring fresh food into the city. Vegetables, meat, seafood, and fruit that was often picked just a day or two before. Unlike large supermarkets, shopping here feels much more personal. People know each other, they chat, they smile, and many customers have been buying from the same vendor for years. I picked up some fresh mangoes. They smelled incredibly sweet. And honestly, this is one of my favorite fruits in Vietnam. What surprised me wasn't just the price, it was the quality. The fruit is fresh, it's naturally sweet. And because Vietnam grows so much tropical produce, it's something many families can enjoy regularly. My bag of mangoes cost less than $1. And somehow, I still had money left. You know, when people compare Vietnam with America, they usually focus on numbers, prices, salaries, or the cost of living. But after spending the morning here, I think the biggest difference isn't really about money. It's about access. Fresh food, local markets, and small family businesses are still part of everyday life. And maybe that's why even a simple morning feels so enjoyable. I still had enough money for one last stop, a Vietnamese banh mi. If you've never had one before, it's much more than just a sandwich. Crispy bread, fresh herbs, pickled vegetables, savory meat, and a homemade sauce that brings everything together. It's quick, it's affordable, and for many people, it's a normal everyday meal. This sandwich cost me about $1.35, which meant my $5 were almost gone. Let's take a look at everything. For just $5, I had a bowl of pho, a traditional Vietnamese coffee, fresh tropical fruit, and a banh mi. 4 different experiences, 4 moments that felt completely authentic, and I still had a few cents left. Honestly, that's more than I expected when I started this challenge. Of course, this doesn't mean life is cheaper for everyone. Prices are only one part of the story. Every country has different incomes, different challenges, and a different way of living. But I think that's exactly why traveling, or simply seeing another country through everyday life, is so fascinating. Today, $5 gave me more than food. It gave me a small glimpse into what an ordinary morning in Vietnam feels like. And maybe that's something money can't really measure. So now I'd love to ask you, what could $5 buy where you live? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more everyday life in Vietnam, I'll see you in the next video.